Thank you, your taste is impeccable. Music is the rhythm of life. It's the beat of a heart, the throb of a pulse, the ache of a bunion. The very syncopation of living itself. Coming as I do from a poor family, it was music that kept our family going through the dark days of the Depression. My father stole radiograms. Mother was so musically minded, as a child I would clamber on her knee and whisper, "Mummy, mummy, sing me a lullaby, do." And she'd say, "Certainly, my angel, my wee bundle of happiness. Hold me beer while I fetch me banjo." Those years of grinding poverty. Kids today have got it made. As a baby, I never had a plastic duck to play with in the bath. All I had was a handful of greasy plates.
Les Dawson, one of the last links in that great chain of North Country variety comedians who'd have audiences smiling on the way in. Like so many of them, as well as possessing that inestimable gift, the ability to look funny, Les had a distinctly individual approach to comedy. With him, it was lugubrious tales of disillusion and defeat embellished with wildly surreal flights of fantasy. And all the while, he'd be doing things with that remarkable face, grimacing, mouthing, hauling his jaw almost up to his nose. It was a talent he employed as skillfully as his highly inventive command of language. Writing his own scripts, he not only had us sharing his relish for the ornate or quirky phrase, but somehow the contrast between the delicate choice of words and that chunky, disgruntled appearance made it all the funnier. If I can offer one personal memory of Les, it was a moment when we were talking about language after we'd been on a chat show together back in the 70s, and I can still remember how hugely delighted he was when another guest, some literary giant, reminded him that that line in the book of Ruth, "Whither thou goest, I shall go, thy people shall be my people," one of the most beautiful expressions of loyalty in the Bible, perhaps in all literature, was actually addressed to her mother-in-law. And of course, there will be no shortage of mother-in-law references in this tribute, which will be giving a taste of Les at different stages of his career. If you recognize any of the jokes I've heard him say, treat it as you would an old friend, with affection, warmth, and laughter, which is exactly how we'll be remembering him, an eccentric comic spirit who never neglected an opportunity to call attention to his music hall roots, as for instance in this first souvenir, a moment from the 1983 Royal Variety Show.
Well, for those of you at the audience tonight who have never actually been to this glittering pageant before, it must be a great thrill for you all here tonight to under the same roof, in the same theatre, seeing for the first time in person a Northern comic. I went in a tailor's shop last Monday, and I said to the salesman, I said, "What can I have for £30?" And he gave me some wool and a loom. Just then the manager came out. He was wearing tight yellow trousers, a yellow sweater with a black zip, and his hair was all fluffed up. He looked like a backcomb banana. I said, "What's up?" I said, "I'd like a suit for the series that I'm doing from Yorkshire Television." He said, "Do you want a good one?" I said, "Yes, please." He said, "Well, for £300 I can do you one that'll be the wonder of the age." I said, "Well, what do I get for £300? He said, "Well, first of all, we take photographs of you in the nude by Anthony Armstrong-Jones. And then the prints are rushed across the Alps by helicopter to the south of France, where Anagoni will do an oil portrait of the photographs, which will then in turn be sent to Jacob Epstein, the sculptor, who'll do a full life-size dimensional statue of you, so that every contour, every rib, every portion of the anatomy is absolutely first class and spot on." He said then a Norwegian submarine will submerge off the coast of Murmansk. And a specialized team of skin divers will scour the ocean bed for the great spotted Baltic conger eel. And when they find half a dozen, they take the ligaments from the knees. And they'll be used for the threads to sew your suit. Now, the wool that we use to weave the suit is only found on the belly of the Himalayan Nepalese sheep. So we engage a team of Aborigine acrobats from Hobart, and we fly them over the trampoline to Everest. Now, they dropped on the top of Everest, and they hide in a gully. And when the sheep bound from crag to crag, the acrobats form a pyramid. And the man on the top will leap up, spring, and clutch tufts of wool from its belly. When we've got enough, the wool is then flown over to a secret mill in Bradford, where a team of scientists will put the suit together. I said, it sounds marvellous. I said, when can I have it? He said, tomorrow.
What a thrill to be at the Victoria Palace. What a theatre. There's something about the atmosphere. It reminds me of home. It's filthy and full of strangers. What a thrill to be taking part in this annual theatrical night shift. Oh, don't worry, I won't keep you long. I believe one or two of you fancy an early night. That's a short trip to the tower. I have never, ever forgotten the last time I appeared on a royal variety show. It was a triumph, a tour de force, a night to remember. Her Majesty the Queen, throughout my act, had a radiant smile on her face, and Prince Albert fell about. I've never, ever said anything derogative about my dear wife's mother.
Really?
No, she's a wonderful woman. She came to live with us. My cup of happiness did brimmeth over. As soon as she knocked on the door, I knew it was her, because the mice were throwing themselves on the traps. Darling, would you tell your dear mother her bath's ready?
The wife's mother went to Sydney last week to see her sister who works over there's a bricklayer and that. Apparently they went swimming off Bondi Beach and the wife's mother was attacked by a great white shark. Yeah, they pulled her out all night. They worked in the hospital, but it was too late. The shark died.
People often say to me, what is the secret of how I keep so jolly and full of zip? Well, it isn't always easy. Take last Thursday, for instance. I hadn't slept a wink the night before. 3 times in the early hours, a little wet finger kept poking me in the ear. And a small voice whispered, take me to the bathroom. I said to the wife at breakfast, this is ridiculous. Your mother ought to go on her own now.
I do a lot for the poor, you know, the wife, the mother-in-law, and the rest of it. And I'm in a similar boat, you see, in that respect, because my mother-in-law is actually Martin Bowman. And we found her in a council house in a cupboard near the meter, and I've looked after her ever since, you know. So I understand what it's like. She's got jackboot rash. You're nice when you smile, aren't you?
What's your mother-in-law? I mean, you've got a mother-in-law, haven't you?
Oh, yeah. She's very nice, actually. She's very nice. She's got a face like a bag of spanners.
But what does she think, though, about you? I mean, does she think you're a loving son-in-law?
We got really? Very well together. When we stay at her house, you know, which is decorated in early Dracula, she knows that I am personally very fond of pets. And you can bet your life when I go to bed of a night, there's always a black widow spider in the corner. She's a very big woman, you know. She has her knickers on a prescription.
He's a funny man, that Les Dawson.
Funny maybe, but man, I'm not too sure.
Ed, whatever do you mean?
You know damn well what I mean.
Ned.
All that dressing up in women's clothes, him and that Roy Barracuda.
Clough.
I think it must have been in 1968 that I first worked with Les. They were looking for an actor and I was in the building at the time. It's funny, sometimes life's as simple as that. Les didn't know much about actors and I certainly didn't know anything about comedians. But I very soon realized that I'd met one of the nicest men you could ever wish to meet. The man you see talking to Michael Parkinson is Les. Les on stage was just the same as Les in life, only noisier. Sissy and Ada. So they started by Les playing around off camera and me answering back. And then one day Bill Hitchcock caught us at it, our director. So he sent someone off for 2 large dresses and the rest is, well, it's Les's tribute to the great Norman Evans, really. I should say at this point, Les hated rehearsing. He'd do anything to get out of it. He was always late. The string of unlikely excuses, slow punctures, contraflow systems, lorries shedding their loads. Once, a minibus full of dwarfs blocking the North Circular. Nobody ever believed them, of course. But it didn't matter, because it was Les. His idea of rehearsing was to say, now you just sit there, and I'll say to you, how's your Leonard? And you say, well, he's having trouble with his Veruca. And I say, well, he just got rid of a Volvo. And then we'll go into a bit of patter, and then we'll do the lobster joke. So I'd be sitting there getting the wig straight, and suddenly realised I hadn't the first idea what the lobster joke was. Too late. We were on.
Well, I'm just about flabbergasted with our Phyllis. Oh, she's gone one above herself, that woman.
Really?
Since she married that draftsman.
Oh, well, yes.
Because he's got a relation in Old Woodley.
Yeah.
Do you know we went to a Scrabble party the other night in Morley?
No.
And the conversation got to the classics.
Oh, yes.
And our Phyllis said, they were on about Beethoven.
Oh, yeah.
And she said she'd seen Beethoven get on the number 5 bus to the town hall. Oh, I said, you've shown yourself up, our Phyllis. Number 5 bus doesn't go to the town hall. Greece at last.
Well, of course, we've been here a week.
Well, we would have been here today, but we had a puncture at Knutsford.
I must say the hotels here are wonderful.
Oh,
the food is beyond compare. Oh, wonderful. Have you had the shish kebabs?
Ever since we arrived.
Have you been to the Acropolis?
Never been off it.
I'm sorry, I'm not strictly open yet, love.
I must say, well, your face is very familiar.
Really?
You're the dead spit of a great friend of mine.
Oh, yeah?
You haven't got a younger sister called Sissy, have you? She was a wonderful woman. She lives in Gatley now. She's from down in the world. And she was a great friend of mine. A nicer body never broke the day's bread. And she was always very, very windowed, even in those days. And she'd done well for... And she'd suffered like anyone. For years she had creeping alopecia and water retention. Perhaps she knew her husband, Leonard. Stiff little fellow with a wall eye.
Oh, didn't he work on the council?
Yes, for years. He used to take photographs of people with one of those instant things.
Yeah. Polaroids.
Oh, he had those for years. In winter he walked with a hopping motion.
Yeah. No. Really, it was an actor's nightmare. I never knew what he was going to say next. I mean, I just thought we were there to entertain the audience. No. Nothing so simple. We were there to entertain the audience, and Les, and the crew, and me. Whenever I used to hear him go into that W.C. Fields voice and say, I'll get you tonight, Bartloof, I knew I was in for trouble.
I can help out behind the bar. I can cook. I can do anything you want.
Yes, well, I can't promise anything, but I'll take a few particulars down. Now, what's your name, love?
Oh, it's Shufflebottom.
Shufflebottom, yeah.
Ada Bernice.
Ada Bernice.
Named after my grandmother, Ada Bernice. Victoria Shufflebottom.
Yeah. Shufflebottom.
Shufflebottom. 2 F's.
Right. So, with regards to this position, then, I already have a cook, you know.
Oh, have you?
Yes, a Betty 1001 ways with minced turpin.
Oh.
And she's not quite as adept as she used to be.
Oh, really?
No. I had a complaint from a customer only last week.
Oh,
found her corn plaster in her con carne.
Oh, God help her, she must have been bending the wrong way.
So do you think you could manage to do a bit of cooking?
I could do a bit of
foreign stuff. I'm interested in, you know, more esoteric meals in the bar, you know, like curries, for instance.
Very nice.
What's your vindaloo like?
Well, it's plain white tiles and a wooden seat.
No, look, do you think you could manage coq au vin?
Well, my husband asked me to try it once. I scraped my knees on the gear stick.
I see Albert Thistlethwaite down by the bridge. He died. Mind you, I'm not surprised. I mean, 92. Fancy 92 and marrying a woman of 30. I mean, what good did he think he could do her? I mean, you know, like at night.
You'd be surprised. He was a very virile man for his age.
Really?
I heard. Of course, I'm not one for gossip.
No,
well,
I don't know.
I mean, I've always believed in keeping your own counsel.
Yeah.
But I heard Cissy Williams' Susan, you remember the one about that funny fella?
Yes.
Told me that they used to make love every Sunday to the gentle chimes of the church bell.
Fancy. What did he die of?
He died last Sunday. Fire engine went past. Mrs. Morrison's going back to the chemist with the toilet roll.
Her company must not have turned up then.
Take that Jack Russell's leg off my lupins! It's branched all the leaves. I'll have to tell somebody. I'm bursting to tell somebody.
Oh, come on out with it, Ada. You know me. Silent as the grave.
Solid discretion.
Oh, absolutely. Go on.
Our Phyllis has really gone and done it this time.
Has she?
She told me last night she'd forgot to take a contradictive pill.
Well, I'm not surprised she's ignorant.
3 months.
Ada, look, isn't that artistic?
Very nice, very nice.
French, I would think.
Oh, shall be gone.
Yes, I'll just look it up in the brochure. I was right. It's a Pissarro.
These fellas will do it anyway, won't they?
Ada, Camille Pissarro was a famous impressionist.
Do you mean a sort of French Mike Yarwood?
There's nothing like a Mike Yarwood. Impressionists are painters who paint without any attention to detail.
A couple of fellas work for the co-op decorators just the same. They did my skirting boards in Jelly Peck's primer. It ran all over me shag pile carpet.
Just as I suspected, you're totally uncomprehending in matters of art, Ada. Not like my Leonard. Now, my Leonard's a devotee of art. I mean, he's got a wonderful Botticelli.
Fancy.
You know, he had it touched up last week.
Must have brought colour to his cheeks.
I keep telling him he ought to put it on show.
The council will never allow that.
There you go again. No breeding, no culture. I mean, it was just the same when I took you to that exhibition of clothing through the ages, showing me it like that.
What do you mean? When?
You know very well when. When that guide pointed out those corsets and said they were from William and Mary. You asked if they were as good as Marks and Sparks. Died. Shame.
If I've ashamed you, I'm very, very sorry. Very sorry. I've not had your education. You had a private tutelage. Listen, I went to a state school. And remember this, I could only go in the morning. Being a twin, we only had one pair of knickers between us.
But you and your sister both were in the hockey team. What did you do then?
We prayed it wasn't windy.
Yes, well, accompanying me round this art gallery will give you a chance to catch up on your education. It'll do you nothing but good.
Don't do me feet any good. They're like 2 braised cheeseburgers.
For goodness sake, stop complaining. Now, come along, we've got a lot to get.
I'm very glad you brought me round, but... Oh, don't loot! Don't loot! In the name of heaven, don't loot! It'll bring your shingles back. You'll have a flush. Stop it.
Oh, I say.
Well, I did try to warn you.
Oh, yes, of course you did, Chuck. Oh.
Very outstanding, isn't it?
Oh, it's positively dynamic. I wonder who sculpted it.
I don't know, but it certainly wasn't short of clay.
But it could be more.
Not more, surely.
Talking about Henry Moore, the sculptor. There's a plaque here. I wonder what it's called.
Don't go too far, he might spring at you.
It's called Waiting.
If it was left to me, well, I've waited long to wait.
You see? Now, this is the sort of place you ought to bring Bert. Do him good to see all these treasures from the past.
I couldn't bring Bert here.
Why not?
He'd start brooding. Cheeky.
No, he's dropped off.
It's only a fig leaf.
Don't you dare try and put it back, Ada. Come on.
There's not many of them in a pound. I'd like to introduce 5 ladies now, 5 young ladies, who used to be decoys for a whaling fleet. Go on, that one. Keep it in. When they all bend down together, we'll lose an hour's daylight. You're welcome, the roly-polies!
Today is very modern. Check the personality. Everything today makes yesterday slow. Better face reality. Goodbye, good go. I'm changing and how. So beat the drum, dancing and gnarly. All that I'm feeling now.
After the tremendous success of Mo Moreland and the Roly-Polies, who Les chose himself, by the way, because he had no time for skinny girls, he always wanted to follow it with a team of overweight middle-aged male dancers, call them the older generation, and have them doing their stuff behind him with top hats and canes. It would have made me laugh, but probably only the once.
Diminution fifth. That's it. Try to keep together. weather. I must say that's the first time I've seen a dress that's been backcombed. May I say, Shirley, you're a vision of loveliness, a tender rose trapped between the pages of time itself. You have graced this humble little offering with your effervescent persona. As our producer said in a rare moment of sobriety, what a better way than to rescue an aging performer's career by teaming him up with a megastar. I said, well, I'll try anything once, but I don't think even Rambo could save her career.
Nothing more than feelings, trying to forget my feelings of love. Teardrops, they're rolling down on my face, trying to forget my feelings of love.
And shocked. Just caught a glimpse of Les's wife Tracy. So they're very, very proud of their new addition to the family. You don't see enough of Les on TV these days.
Well deserved.
It's about bloody time I won something. Well, let's face it, I've been in this business so long, I can remember when the Archers only had an allotment. I'm usually invited as ballast. First I heard about this evening was a phone call from my agent, which came as a shock. I thought he'd gone down on the Titanic. I was so excited at hearing his voice, I went straight down to the office where he cleans, and I knew the recession had hit him because he was smoking a cigar on timeshare. He's filling up a little bit. I said to the wife this morning, she was cleaning out the culverts in the back garden. I said, we're going down to London for the awards. She said, I just wish I had a new dress. I said, what's wrong with the one you've got on? She said, nothing, but the train and veil's filthy. But I'm very happy to receive this and I shall put it as far away from the mantelpiece as I can. I've never felt as thrilled, seriously, since I was turned down on an audition for El Dorado. That's it.
Now, my next guest is an author, a wordsmith, a pianist. He's also glum, lugubrious, a male...
Get on with it, you're making boredom an art form.
Who else? Les Dawson. Now, we haven't had a chat. I mean, we've talked on the satellite and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We haven't talked man to man since you stole blankety blank from me.
You don't steal blankety blank. You leave it in a bin line and hope somebody will take it away. You were born in a village that was so small the speed limit signs were back to back. It was so small they took it in when it rained. Then you met your husband who were rescued from all that. Your husband's called Frank. You have 2 children, Mike and Mandy. And you work as a merchandise for a company that makes biscuits. Right. Crumbs. Now you breed pigeons. I thought they did it for themselves.
Did you find blankety blank easy to take over?
No. I have to say it, friend that you are. You're a very hard man to follow.
I'm glad you said that.
No, it's true, because you brought something to it that it never had before. Boredom and distaste.
What do you think you brought to it?
An elegant, I think, glamour.
Glamour.
We've had some rubbish on this show, but you two. I'm not being funny, you're lucky to get nothing. Christine Burgess from Hersham in Surrey.
That's right.
You're married to Stuart, who was a marine surveyor.
Yes.
But being concerned with fish doesn't always mean you're in the chips.
Just where Stuart's concerned.
Excuse me a moment. I'd just like to remind you very gently, you came here for nothing. A little bit of courtesy, I feel. Just to lighten the atmosphere. What a dream I had last night. I dreamt I was running naked through a baker's shop. That must have been yesterday. Would you believe when I woke up I found a donut? I found a donut wedged on the end of my blank. Well, you've won £50, and you've got yourself. Teach yourself Esperanto. No home should be without one. All you've got to do now is find out where Esperanto is. You look absolutely marvellous.
Thank you.
You're looking lousy at rehearsal. You've won something which will be a joy. You won a dry flower display. Which means they're dead. You see before you the founder, president, and sole member of Male Lib. See, you women don't realise that in your flimsy dresses and your miniskirts, just what you do to a man. I mean, this frustration builds up like a pack on his back. I personally don't bother with girls. It's girls that bother me. A friend of mine has the same trouble. His name is Cosmo Smallpiece. Welcome to Stars at Night. This evening I shall be talking about the phenomena of the incandescence of the new nova centred at the back of the Milky Way and the Plough, and also round by the area of the Great Bear. Bear. And because of this, we shall have a beautiful moonlit night with the lunar orb fully shining down to your bedroom, so all you girls will hang there in your shorty nighties and the covers rolled down, because it'll be warm. It'll be a warm night. You'll probably take your nighties off and lie there. Cosmo Smallpiece, the randy little man with the thick glasses, was me. It's all right for him talking about stripping off, and yet the only person who ever asked me to strip off was old Moore's Almanac.
Did you do it?
Yes. The thing is, when you're not built for romance, which I'm not, there's always inside a seed of romanticism which beats. like a pulse. So I found an outlet in Olmo's Almanac. I mean, in Cosmos Mall. It was me.
First, news of the draw for the third round of the FA Cup. Here are the teams and the draws.
Draw. Little 901. Silk. Mohair.
Birmingham City versus Cardiff City. Crystal Palace versus Wrexham. Derby County versus Chester.
Chests.
So, Oxford United versus Bristol City.
Rhymes with, you know what it rhymes with. Big one, small one, one me.
Port Vale versus Oldham.
And you can hold them those Bristol because they're a time. Get stuck in. With the draw with the chest.
Dawson?
Sir!
I want you to go through the boggy morass over there and take a message to HQ.
The boggy morass, sir? You're sending me to certain death.
This is a very important message, Dawson. It's got to get through.
Yes, sir. What's the message, sir?
The message is as follows. Am on my own now, have just lost Dawson in the boggy morass.
Les was always such a modest man, and he never ceased to be surprised and impressed by the star names who were queuing up to be on his show. It must have been after Monty Python that John Cleese joined in. Les was delighted, but he knew at the same time, for once in his life, he was going to have to stick to the script.
Oh, Della. Have you got any dirty books?
Yeah, what you want?
Sir, I reckon as how you and I have been in this trench now for 4 years.
I think that you and I have been in this trench now for 4 years.
Yes, I like it. This trench now for 4 years.
That's right.
I was thinking, like, where was you born?
No, where were you born?
Where were you born?
Yes, I was born in Holland Park in London, Dawson.
Holland Park. I thought perhaps you come from south.
No, I thought perhaps you came from the south.
I thought perhaps you came from the south.
That's right.
I think it's our cop one.
I think that I've been shot.
I think that I've been shot. And there's the French. And I personally don't trust any nation that eats frog's legs. Sorry. What horrifies me is if you order frog's legs, what happens to the rest of the frog? Is it doomed to spend the rest of its life going down the kitchen on casters? To wake up every morning knowing full well that it jumps out of the question.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, habitués of the music hall. I, Zebediah Swine, will bring you once again excitement of the first magnitude with my great illusion, human cannonball. I intend to fire my assistant, Brenda, from its nonsense cannon into a net superimposed 80 feet above the balcony. The slightest miscalculation with trajectory could result, of course, in a very fatal accident. So I must ask you to remain reasonably quiet while we perform the illusion. Thank you very much. A little music, please. Could we perhaps have a drum roll? Yes, that'll do. Start working with the note. Wonderful. fly through this monstrous cannonade, and she will soar through the air like an eaglet. I'm bloody sick of this. Why you got you on a flaming F-plan diet? That's sick and stupid, killing me.
A fellow once said to me, quite candidly, he said, I watched your act, he said, from back at snooker table. He said, you know, we've had all big names here, Gladys Allsop, the Jenny Lind of the Shires. She sings, Dear Am I Got to Thee, and does a striptease in a bucket of ferrets. Very hard-bitten woman, but very nice with it. He said, are you approachable? I said, yes. He said, would you mind a word of constructive criticism? I said, not at all. He said, well, I think you're crap. Well, they're pretty hard, some of those clubs in the north, you know. If they like your act, they don't clap, they let you live. I played one the other week. It was called the Copacabana Tropicana Club, Scunthorpe. It was under a viaduct in a blouse factory. You can tell the sort of place it was. They had a bouncer on the door throwing the drunks in. Well, what an audience. They were undertakers. That was bad enough. They had the clients with them. You might as well laugh. You paid enough for it. I'm not joking. I've seen more life in a tramp's vest. But in the true axiom... In the true axiom of show business, I carried on, and I must say, at the end of the evening, I had that audience with me all the way. Luckily, I shook them off at Doncaster.
Professionally speaking, I remember my dear friend Les as a man who found a funny character. Or did the character find him? Either way, he stuck with it. The two were the same. And he could say the most wonderfully outrageous things and get away with it, thanks to that character. The very last time I saw him and Tracy was the night before he died. I said, I'm a bit worried about this play I'm in, Les. It's not funny. Well, the bits you're in aren't, says Les. He laughs. I laugh. Everybody laughs. Yeah. Everybody laughs. Thanks, Les.
This is the part of the show which I've actually been looking forward to. The Artist Benevolent Fund have given me the honour of introducing you to a lady tonight, she's in the balcony, who is possibly the oldest living vaudeville performer in the country. She's never been to a royal show. She's so excited. And tonight is her birthday. Her name is Gladys Pickering, and she's 111 years old today. Let's wish her happy birthday on the piano. Right? Sorry? Oh, she's not 111, she's ill.